Good morning.
Morning too.
Good to hear. This is the team from Ardhisasa. My name is Mashua Kahoshio. Together with me, I have Sam and Timothy, who are our trainers today. Today, we'll be looking at several applications in regard to transmissions, starting with Formulary 39. That is what we call registration of a personal representative or executor. Uh, Just again to say that we have been having webinars every Tuesday from around 10. Kindly keep sharing our link to your friends and colleagues so that we can have as many people as possible who are able to interact with our processes and also to ensure that other people who may have concerns are able to express their concerns to us. So it's also good to remind you that our link does not change. So you are always able to use the link that you have every Tuesday around this time. And where we may not have a training, I will be able to inform you in advance. But currently, our schedule is to have training every Tuesday. So without further ado, I want to hand over to our trainers. Kindly, if you have any question, you can use the chat feature where you are able to post your question. We'll be able to respond. But also we'll have opportunities where we'll allow you to raise your hand so that you can ask your questions. I also hope that we'll try to stick to the today's topic. I know there are other issues that may arise, which we may want to deal with at the far tail end of the training, so that first we can be able to deal with the issues in regard to transmissions. So I want to hand over. Karibuni sana, and God bless you.
Good morning, everyone. I believe everyone can hear me clearly. And I'm Muchai Timothy, and I'll be taking you through the application processes for the two applications mentioned by Mr. Kahosha. Now, to begin with, for the two processes that we are talking about, it applies for both parcels which were under Nairobi block previously before digitization, and for parcels which were under other regimes, which were under the central registry prior to digitization. So if you have a parcel which is an RTA title, that is the IR or the GLA, and it has been gazetted for conversion, but you have not replaced the title, then you will not be going for replacement of title issued from closed register, but you will be going to the respective LRA process that you want to do. So be it removal of a joint deceased proprietor, which is LRA 38, or you're going for registration of administrators or executors, which is LRA 39, then you'll deal with that process under that. What the system will do is it will register the administrators for you or remove the name of a joint deceased proprietor and also replace that title for you. So you will get two outcomes, replacement of title and the registration of administrator of removal of a joint deceased proprietor. So that I thought was important to begin with, so that we don't find people going to replacement of title for a parcel which ideally should undergo the LRA 39 or LRA 38. So I'll begin with LRA 39. I'll log in. I have an account which is already logged in, and already it has changed to the advocate account. And I'll go to the land registration department, which is the process which we are dealing with is under the transfers. And when you click on transfers, you will get a list of digitized transfer processes. So today we'll be dealing with the LRA 39, which is one of the processes. I'll proceed. After you click on that, it will navigate you to the application page, which will list for you the applications that you initiated before, if any, For the displayed account, we can see that we have one application that had been initiated before, which is on the under the tab. So maybe for the new members, I'll just mention the purpose or the functions of these tabs labeled pending all the way to cancelled. The purpose of these tabs is to hold applications depending on the level of processing of those applications. The pending tab will hold applications that you've initiated, but you've not finished the required actions from your side. That is either you as the advocate initiating the process or the parties you are representing the application. The ongoing tab will contain applications that you've initiated as an advocate. All your parties have documents, and you have to the processing. Completed will hold applications that have been registered. Rejected will hold applications that were rejected by the registrars for a reason or another. And cancelled will hold applications that you initiated but did not decided to cancel along the way for whatever reasons. Now, for you to initiate a new application, you'll click on New Application. It will guide you to the frequently asked questions regarding this process. Additionally, we can see that we have a link for YouTube, a YouTube link, which guides you to the tutorials that we develop and post them on YouTube. So we have YouTube tutorials for several processes that we've digitized and on the system. And the tutorials are good. They'll guide you on what is required and the process of applying for this process or making the application for this kind of business process. Then I'll proceed to the next step, which is now the actual application. You will provide the parcel number, you'll provide the proprietor details, and then you'll provide any other additional provisions or and the law firm details under this page. Before I proceed and provide the other details, I'd like to talk about proprietor details section, which has brought a lot of, or I can say people sometimes have challenges when it comes to this section, especially for properties which are held in common, and we have maybe one or more than deceased proprietor. So when you provide the parcel number, and then you come to this section, and I'll go specifically for the proprietorship in common, then we'll require you to provide the details of the deceased proprietor and the details of the existing proprietor. The reason we require you to provide this information is because we find parcels which have not been attached to the proprietor's account, and we might not have the details or the Ardhisasa details of the existing proprietors. That is why we ask for you to provide the details of the existing proprietors, so that when the application for registration of the relating to this proprietor, this parcel also will appear under the accounts of the existing proprietors. So I'll guide you on how to provide the details, but first, let me provide a parcel number which we'll be using today, which is held by 4 individuals in common. And we'll take a scenario where two of them are deceased. You'll provide the names of the proprietor, the identity held before was it an ID number or a pass? Provide the ID number. Then I'll provide either the date of the grant of will or the date of the grant of letters of administration. So for this case, I'll go with grant of letter of administration. You choose the date. You'll provide the share for that deceased individual, and you proceed and add. And when you scroll down a bit, you'll see that we have the details of that person. He's called John, his ID number, this, and the share is as displayed. Then since we said we have 2 deceased proprietors, I'll proceed and provide the details of the second deceased proprietor. I'll provide the identity type, which is the ID. Then I'll choose the date of grant of will or grant of letters of administration, and I'll provide the share that she held. And we can see that we have the two individuals displayed below. Then I'll proceed now and provide the details of the existing proprietor. And for the details of the existing proprietor, we will be required to provide the Ardhisasa ID of that individual. That means that person must be registered on the system. You will proceed and search, and then you give the share for that individual, and you add, and you can see that we have the name appearing below, and the status of that proprietor is that he is existing proprietor, not a deceased one. Then I'll proceed and provide the details of the fourth proprietor, and when I search, it will ask for the share of that proprietor. When you provide the share and you add, that person will appear below. Now, that is listing the details of the proprietors as they are in the register. Now, after that, we'll come now and provide the details of the administrators of each of the two individuals. Remember that we had indicated that we have two deceased proprietors, and each of them could be having different administrators. So we'll provide the administrators as per every deceased in a proprietor. So when you come and select the deceased proprietor under this section, it will give you the names of the two proprietors. So I'll start by providing the details of the administrators of John. And when I click on that, it will give me the Ardhisasa ID. To input the Ardhisasa ID of the and John. So, and then I search. And when you search, you'll be asked to select the category of the person to execute as a transferee. Either they are using the power of attorney or they are executing for themselves. If they are using the power of attorney, we have the unique format that we use for power of attorney entry numbers of the system, which is Nairobi slash the entry number that was slash the month registered for the year it was registered. And when you proceed and search, then it will give you the details of that power attorney. As you can see, it will list for you. But if this person is if this administrator is executing for him or herself, then you'll go with the self option and you click on, and you will find that we have this person with this Ardhisasa ID representing the person by the name John, and they'll be executing for themselves. Add more than one administrator that individual. So you'll just come again and select the name of that John, and it will be given the place to key the Ardhisasa ID, and you will proceed and provide the details. Then we'll come and provide the details of the administrator of Jane, and we will proceed and key in the Ardhisasa ID of that administrator. And then we proceed and kindly confirm if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you, although your voice is intermittently being distorted. I think because of connection, but we can hear you.
Yeah, because you're breaking at intervals.
So at some point, so apologies for that. I believe, let me check my internet then. So I'll continue. In case of any breakups, you'll just notify us through the text so that repeat what was not clear. So I was at the second deceased proprietor, and I've inputted the Ardhisasa ID of the administrator representing that deceased proprietor. And when I proceed and search, I'll be asked again to select the category of the person to execute for that administrator, and I'll still go with self. Then I save, and we can see that this individual with these Ardhisasa IDs representing the second deceased proprietor, and that they will be signing or executing for themselves. Then we proceed to the transfer details, whereby you'll be asked to select the nature of interest to be transferred. This is a leasehold property, so I'll go with leasehold. Then I proceed to additional provisions, which is an optional field. If you have any additional information to provide, you'll provide under this field. Then we'll go to the law firm details. And under the law firm details, you can either key in the law firm details under the fields provided, or you can tie this application to a registered law firm on Ardhisasa. I'll be tying the application to a registered law firm on the system. Then you'll be required to provide the Ardhisasa ID of the law firm and proceed and search. Sorry. So I'll So after providing the law firm details, we'll proceed to the next page, whereby we'll be required to provide the death certificates and the grant of probate or the grant of letters of administration for the individuals you listed as the deceased proprietors. And as we can see, we had two deceased proprietors. That means we'll have to upload 2 death certificates and 2 grant of probate or letters of administration, what's on the previous page. So I'll upload the death certificates for the 2 individuals and the grant of probate for the 2, since I'd selected the grant of will for both of them. So once you have uploaded all the mandatory documents, if you want to upload any additional document, you will click on additional documents and provide the details under the additional documents text field. You will key in the name of the document you want to upload. Then you choose the file from your local computer, and you proceed and upload the document. So that is if you have an additional document, but it's an optional field. Then you proceed to confirm the details that you've provided. That is the parcel number, the proprietor's details. The transferees will be the administrators. Then the transferred details and the law firm details. And if you are satisfied, you can proceed and submit. If you wish to edit any information, then you can navigate back to the pages where you provided those information. So I'll proceed and submit the application. So after you submit and the application is submitted successfully, you'll get that confirmation on the screen, or that success message, transfer application successfully submitted. And upon submitting, the system will generate 2 invoices for you. We have the stamp duty fee and the transfer fee or the registration fee. So the registration fee is 500. The stamp duty fee is 200, but these payments are made via eCitizen, and eCitizen usually charge a convenience fee of 50 shillings. So that's why you see the 550 and the 250 for the stamp duty and for the transfer fee respectively. So you'll be able to pay the invoices, and anyone can pay, either the advocate who is initiating this application or the parties being represented by these advocates. And as I mentioned, the payment is via the eCitizen. And we have an integrated interface with eCitizen whereby you'll be able to make the payments. So first I'll proceed and review the invoice. And when we view the invoice, these are the information. We have the invoice status, it's unpaid, the invoice number, the generated date. You'll have the contacts of Ardhisasa and the parcel number in question and the payment description. So we have convenience fee and transfer registration fee. So I'll go back and make the payments. And you can download the invoice if you want, but for this demonstration, I'll proceed and make payment for that specific invoice. So for the payment methods, this is the interface that the eCitizen has provided to us. And we have the payment methods for that interface. We have the M-Pesa, whereby you'll be able to generate an STK push, and the prompt to pay will come to your phone, and you'll just enter your M-Pesa PIN and pay. And we have the bank payment also, and the Pesa Flow direct payment, which is a method under the eCitizen. For our demonstration, we use our training payment method, which we call it the mock payment. So I'll just mock the payment to allow me proceed with this application. Then we'll proceed and make payment for the second invoice, which is the stamp duty fee. So I'll also proceed and mock payment for this. So that is after the invoices are paid, then this application will navigate you to the application details. You can also see the documents that you uploaded. So I'll go to the application details and so that we can see what we get. Now, the application will give you a reference number once you submit, which is displayed at the top, the one I have highlighted in blue. That is a reference which is unique to this application that we have initiated. We have the submit button, which is inactive at this point because it will only be active after you have done all that is required, or all the parties have done what is required of them. We have the progress level bar, which will tell you the level at which that application is. Then we'll have the application verification, and it will give you the names of the people or the parties involved in this application and the actions they are supposed to check, and the status of those actions. As you can see, we have OTP verification, and these two individuals have not verified. We have the advocate who initiated the application and the two parties again, and they are supposed to sign, and we can see they have not signed. So the system will communicate to you the status or the action of the parties involved in this application. Then we have this execution bit, and this is where, as the advocate who initiate the application, you will have the privilege to select the parties who you will be representing. And if there is any party that you are not representing on this application, then you will get a chance to reject their representation so that they get an opportunity on their account to select an advocate who will witness for them or who will represent them in that case. So we have the two parties listed as transferor and transferees respectively, because that is what the LRA form states. So if you are representing the two parties, you will accept both of them. If you are not representing both, you will select the one you are representing, then you reject the others. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll accept to represent the administrators of the two deceased proprietors. I'll accept the first one.
They're breaking.
Then after that, as the advocate, you'll have an opportunity to sign on this
Good morning, members. I would like to make an apology for the interruption. We have a little bit of a challenge on our side, but we are making an alternative measure to complete the webinar. Thank you for your indulgence. Maybe in the meantime, we can have a question from the audience. Anyone who'd like clarification from the presentation so far?
Maybe when you say additional documents and all that you're required to attach is the death certificate and the grant itself. What other additional documents would be anticipated or are required?
Yeah, so for the additional documents, usually what we have marked as required is the bare minimum for an application to go through. But now, depending on the circumstances of your application, maybe if your application is involving a company, for example, you would be required to attach a CR12 so that we can look at the identity of the people verifying on behalf. Or maybe identification documents. Some people also attach, they are drafted the physical, a scan of what they drafted as the LRA 39. Sometimes it's attached. It's not required, but we've seen some advocates attach it and it's okay. You can go to inform the application. So that's any other documents that would give any context to this application will be appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions, or can you take a question from the chat?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think I might have missed this, but just for clarification, what happens where the deceased did not have an Ardhisasa account?
So where the deceased did not have an Ardhisasa account, you'll be required to add their details. You'll type in their details. So you'll type in their name, say Jane Doe, and their ID number, and the details as were captured. So you just do a typing of their details. That's actually the most common scenario, because most of the deceased, most of the LRA 39s that are being done now on the system are being done for users that were not yet registered on the platform.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just type in their names.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you can take a final question before we resume.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Probably I might be getting ahead, but I just wanted to know where you finished. Was the application, from my understanding, would be a transfer to the administrator and then to the beneficiary. So where you transfer to the administrator and submit the title, at the point of making the application to transfer to the beneficiary, do you collect the title and resubmit it, or what happens?
I will hand it over to Timothy to respond to the question and proceed with the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning once again. I don't know if you can hear me at this time clearly. So I'll start with the questions which has been asked on the surrender of the title during the registration of administrators. And again, what happens during when you're registering the LRA 42, which is transferring to the beneficiaries. Now, the LRA 39 does not produce a title. So that means when you're applying for LRA 32 at this point, you will not be having the title to surrender. So usually, the LRA 42 usually raises a ticket, but you'll talk to the customer care, they'll raise a concern to the respective registrar, and the ticket will be closed maybe by the request of the LRA 39 form that you use during the application of the registration of administrators. And that is what will allow that LRA 42 process to continue. So will not require you to collect the title, then submit again during the 42. You'll just be requested maybe to provide proof of the LRA 39, then you can proceed. I believe your question is answered. So at this point, I'd like to complete the applications, then we can have more questions after this. So before I was disconnected, I reached the point of accepting the parties that I'll be representing as the advocate who initiated this process. The only remaining thing is I'll proceed and append my signature as the advocate who initiated the process. So on your screen, we have the signing area, the one I've just put a mark. That is one way of signing, whereby you can sign using your mouse. And most people might not find this as a comfortable way of signing. Then to address that, we provided this link, which you can use to sign with another device. So when you click on that link, it will give you 4 alternatives, which you can use to obtain a link, which you can use on another device. And the first one is the QR code. You can scan a QR code. The second option is you can send a link to an email, then use that link on another device. The third one is you can send a link to a phone number, and you can open that link on that phone and sign. The fourth one is you can copy the link and paste it on maybe a clipboard and transfer to that other device so that you are able to use to sign. So I'll demonstrate one for scanning with the QR code. When you select the scan with the QR code, it will give you a QR code which you can scan. It will give you the signing area, the one similar to the one on the screen. You sign on that signing area on your phone, be it a tablet or a smartphone, and then you save the signature on your device, the smartphone or the tablet, and then you come back to the browser and confirm the signing. As you can see, there's a confirm signing button at the bottom of your screen. So that will upload the signature to the application. But for the demonstration for this demonstration, I'll just sign on the signing area on the screen and save my signature. So that is what is required of you as the advocate who initiated the application up to that point. Now, your clients also, or the parties you are representing in this application, will need to sign into their respective accounts and do the execution also on their side. So I'll sign out, then I'll sign in as one of the parties being represented and see how we will execute. Then I'll request my colleague to execute on the other, demonstrate using one account. So maybe as I log in, you can take one question. Mr. Kawa, to the question.
So I think there are a few questions on the chat. There are a few questions on the chat. One of the question is by Jomolo Associates to everyone. Good morning. I would like to know how long does the registration of L 39 and 42 take? My application has been pending close to 2 years now. I think I want to take you back a bit just to explain what may inform some of the delays to the LRI 39, because that's the first application you make. I think in our previous trainings, we have always mentioned that before we are able to transact on the system, all the properties must be verified. And I think we have always said that even for the existing proprietors, once they create an account for themselves, they are required to go on the account and add their property for verification. Now, verification, or what we call enumeration in other terms, or what we call add property for the public, is a process where you are able to key in your property details, and then the ministry officials, through the different departments, are able to verify your property. And we have always said that is a very rigorous process where the survey department comes in to actually tell us that the property exists on the ground, and everything, the acreage, the computations. We can be able to view that property on our cadastre and on our digital map. Again, how the rights were granted to that property through the land administration department, the allotment, the payments that were required, all the documents required, the lease was properly issued, and then, of course, finally, for the registration department to be able to support all the entries on the register through the corresponding documents. So what happens in this case for LRA 39, the process, though, does not ask you to verify, actually does, or actually requires the ministry officials to do verification. And remember, you need to follow up and find out why the application has not gone through, because maybe the property has not passed the basic verification processes. And this is what would not allow the process to go on. So before we are able to register that administrator or executor, if internally or within the application, we are required to verify the property details. So it is not the process that may have been holding your transaction. It may be the data for the property itself that have not been verified, and the checks have not been verified. So it is important you are able to get in touch with us. Maybe we'll be able to provide an email at the end where you can be able to reach out with a specific reference for that application, so that we are able to find out exactly what the issue is. The other query would be, can a licensed lawyer who has an active PC but without a firm launch an application? Yes, I think you can be able to do that. It's only that now where you need to indicate the drone by details. Of course, you'll have now to key in the details. The requirement is for you to be a practicing advocate currently, where you have an account and we have upgraded your account because you have made that application. There is nothing that would prevent you, if you have an active PC, nothing would prevent you from launching an application on the system. I don't know whether, Timothy, you're ready to continue. We'll continue taking more questions once we are finalized with the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaosha. From where I left, I've logged in as one of the parties being represented. This is one of the administrator representing one of the deceased proprietor. Now on your screen, you will be able, as the party being, or as the administrator, you will be able to see all the details that the advocate provided, and you will be able to, additionally, on top of the details that you will be able to see, you are able to pay for the invoice if you wish to pay, and you will be required also to consent to this application by requesting for a one-time password, which will be sent to your phone, and of course by executing or signing, just the way we did on the advocate's account. So I'll start off by signing. We have the two signing methods: the signing with another device, and you are signing directly on your screen. So I'll just do the signing on the screen and save the signature. Then the other bit which you'll be required to do is the requesting of the one-time password, which will be sent to your phone, and you do so by clicking on the Get OTP button. And before that, you'll always have this disclaimer that only enter the OTP code if you authorize the application made on your behalf by advocate so-and-so. So it will list the name of the advocate who initiated this application. So I'll proceed and request for one-time code that will be sent to the registered phone number. And then you proceed and click on verify. And it will tell you the OTP successfully verified. So that is what is required of you as the client now, or the client you are representing. After that, and after all the parties you are representing have executed using the OTP and the signing, then you log in as the advocate to submit the application. So we can see that this specific administrator has verified the OTP, and they have also signed. And we can see that the advocate has signed. So we are only waiting for the other administrator to sign so that we can proceed. But as we do that, I'll be logging in back as the advocate so that we can proceed. So I've logged in as the advocate, and I'll need to switch to the advocate account because by default, the system will log in you to your private account. So you switch to the advocate account, then we proceed to the transfer application that we were dealing with, which is LRA 39. And we have the application under the pending tab. And when we view the details, we can see that the one party has not signed. We'll wait for that party to sign. So all the parties have executed. Maybe I'll take a question as we wait for the other party to complete the execution. So I'll welcome one or two questions so that we can continue.
There's a question on by Maureen Nyakenywa, where Maureen is asking, just for clarity, LRI 39 can be done for on Ardhisasa before the title is converted. I think the answer would be a mild yes, but the truth of the matter is, for property that has been listed for conversion, you will not require to be able to make the application for conversion, or what we call replacement of title issued from a cross register. We are asking you to go directly to LRI 39. But that is not to mean that the property is not being converted. What we have implemented is where we use LRI 39 to register the administrator, but in the process also, as Timothy had explained from the onset, we also allow you to do conversion within that same process. So the output of that application will be two forms. The registration of the administrator or the executor, that is Form LI 39, and also Form LI 97, that is replacement of title issued from a closed register. So, so that means you are doing a registration of administrator, but also in the process you're also converting. I hope that answers your question. Back to Timothy.
Thank you, Mr. Kaosha. So this is the application after all the parties have executed and they are verified using the OTP. Now from this point, you'll see that the submit request button is active, and you'll be able to submit the application now for processing by the ministry official. So when we click on submit, and you click to confirm the submission, you'll get the second submission, which will say application submitted successfully. And we can see that it moves from the pending tab to the ongoing tab. Before we started the presentation, we had one ongoing application. Now we have two. Now at this point, your actions, you'll have completed all the actions that are required of you. The only remaining bit will be for you now to physically surrender the title for this application now to be processed. So you'll be required to bring the title accompanied by a letter in duplicate, which they will be stamped with the ministry rubber stamp, and you'll be given one to go with it, and we retain one. This is as an acknowledgement that we have your title for the specific applications that you have initiated and submitted on the system. So that is the process or what the steps you take to make an application for registration of personal representative as executors or administrators. So I'll pause there for questions before we proceed to the next application. So we have a question. I'll just read the question. If I understood correctly, the administrators will sign and the existing proprietors who are not deceased will also sign. The last bit of the question is not true. The only people who will be required to sign are the administrators. The existing proprietors will not be required to sign because they have no role in the registration of the administrators. The only reason we are quoting them under that section of proprietors is because this parcel has not been attached to anyone's account in the system. So the reason we are bringing them in is so that when we approve the application for the registration of the administrator, this parcel will display on their account relating to the share that they hold. Because take an example of the demonstration that we just did. It had 4 people, 2 surviving. These 2 surviving will require to see their property on their account. And if we approve the LRA 39 or the registration of administrators without onboarding these 2 surviving proprietors, then they will not have a view of their property on the system. So that is why we need you to add them at this point, just for purposes of attaching this property to the account to display the share that they hold. Then we have another question by Mr. Mutie. What's the best way for paying stamp duty? Is it through the iTax portal and getting a PRN, or through direct M-Pesa payment via the Ardhisasa platform? So at this point, the payment that we have been doing all along was payment to KRA, whereby you could go to iTax account, generate the PRN, come and have the Ardhisasa invoice number, then make the payment, and you come and settle the payment on the platform. But there was a government directive that all payments for the ministries to be paid through iTax. And additionally to that, the Ministry of Land was given the mandate to collect the stamp duty regarding to land transaction. That is why we are moving the payment of stamp duty from the iTax portal to the e-citizen portal. So going forward, the payment will be through the e-citizen platform, but not the KRA portal. So the best way forward going forward will be through the e-citizen. Then we have a question also from someone with the initials NA. Thank you for the presentation. Just clarify, if a grant has been confirmed, can one proceed straight to LRA 42, or must the LRA 39 process also be done?
Yeah, currently, the way we have configured the system, you will be required to register first the administrator, and for the same reasons that I have given in the previous responses, that there are 39 process for properties that have not been verified, or where the administrator had not been registered previously before digitization. Then this process allows us to do verification of the process. So currently, for any transactions that requires transmission, apart from where you are removing a deceased joint proprietor under Form LRA 38, the other ones you will have to register the administrator or the executor first before you can go to LRA 42. Thank you.
Do you have more question? If you have a question, you can also raise. You can raise your hand so that we can you can ask your question directly. If there are no more questions, I'll hand over to Mr. Kaosha so that he can give us further directions.
It's good to understand we have finalized on NRA 39. And I think Timothy was able to explain that at this process, we don't issue with a title because we are not issuing you a title with the name of an administrator. So what we require you to do is to be able to initiate now the other process, which is the NRA 42, where now you are able to transfer the property to a person entitled under will or under intestacy, which is NRA 42. So I think we have been able to just try to explain some of the issues regarding NRA 39, and maybe some of the issues I want to highlight here will be the challenges that may be occasioned to some of the delays that we experienced during the registration of this process. One, I talked about the issues of the data regarding the property itself. For one reason or another, your property may not have been verified through the departments. Remember, our process of verifications was also to highlight some of the properties that may not be available for transaction. These are properties that may be within public utilities or marked as public utilities. And therefore, it is always important if you see your property has delayed to try to get in touch with the ministry and find out what the issues may be. The other issues, of course, may be the issues of where the survey department has not verified that property. We have noted a few inconsistencies or what we call anomalies in acreages or what we refer to as conflicting areas. So it is important if your property delays that you're able to find out from our customer care or through our customer care so that we can direct you to the correct department. For instance, if it's survey, where we may require actually to come again and resurvey the property again or try to reconcile what we have on the cadastre and what may be on the title. So that is one of the other challenges that we may have during verifications. So it is important to understand that the delay may not be occasioned by the process itself, but by the data that regards to that property. The other issue, of course, or the challenge that we have noted, and especially when it comes to these processes, which are normal even during manual transactions, is where we may have conflict of names or discrepancy in names. And this is occasioned especially by very old people who are either the deceased, where they may have had different names. And then when they go to the court, they were only able to use one name, which does not appear on our register. And therefore, again, we will have maybe to ask you to go back again to go to the court, do amendments, and all that. There's also a question that had been asked about the issues of Kenya Gazette, where we have found that it is necessary for you to provide us with the Kenya Gazette, so you can be able to go to the government printer and get that copy. And the reason is we have not achieved what we would call integration with the judiciary. And I think this is the challenge that we continue to experience. The goal of digitization by government is to link all the institutions so that we can be able to have seamless flow of accurate information. Because, previously, where we would even have to ask or to write to the judiciary to ask the judiciary to confirm whether that grant or whether that confirmation of grant comes from them. And this is a challenge that we continue to experience, but of course we are having a discussion with the judiciary so that at a click of a button, we are able to verify that the orders or the letters that they have been issued for administration comes from them. So that is why the requirement of Kenya Gazette is important, and we really ask you to cooperate and try to provide us with those letters. Also, you may require to upload in what we are calling the documents, additional documents. We were saying it's good you upload the Kenya Gazette together with the death certificate. Of course, also it's also good we ask that you are able to do searches before actually, and this is a challenge to the advocates who undertake. So the advocates undertaking the succession processes kindly be able to do searches for properties. I have seen where sometimes an advocate has listed a property in the confirmation of grant, but if you come back to your record, you will find that that property had already been subdivided or partition had been done, which again now will frustrate the client by asking them back to go and have the same amended. Of course, the other issue is the normal issues of account opening, where please kindly ask your administrators when they are opening the account to be able to upload profile photos that meet the criteria. There must be passport photo in front of a white background. When it also comes to signatures, ensure that they are able to sign. So we ask when we are executing, kindly execute on the signing area. Do not let the signature go beyond, because it will come as cropped. Of course, when you make profile signatures, remember, when you make an application, the system allows the officers working on the applications to compare the signatures. And therefore, as much as we may not be going for the 100% match, there must be semblance. And we have realized some of the advocates or some of the clients sometimes forget the kind of signature they used to do their profile signature. They can get in touch with our customer care if they want their signatures reset, so that they are able now to sign with a signature that matches the profile signature. So I think those are some of the challenges. I think Mutai will respond. Mutai will add an email there where you can be able to reach the Ardhisasa team on the chat for those transactions that you may have delayed over a period of time. I think Maureen was asking whether we responded to that question. I think we did on the issues of conversion, unless you want us to go back to it, where you had asked on the issues of RLE 39, whether it can be done on Ardhisasa before the title is converted. I think we said that for properties that are to be converted, what you require to use is the new block number when you are making the application, and then the area 39 will actually come in duality, or it will allow us to be able to do the registration of the administrator, but also convert. So in essence, actually you are not doing area 39 on a property that is not converted. It's only that these processes are being done simultaneously to allow you to convert and also now register the administrator on the converted title. So I think we have responded that to Maureen. So an email has been provided there. If there are no other burning questions, maybe if there is a burning question, you can lift your hand. Otherwise, just remember that all the webinars that we have done on the various processes are available on our YouTube. You can be able to go back there and listen back again. Also remember, in all the processes that we have, there is always a YouTube link for a tutorial to allow you to go through the process, to be taken through the process, where you can be able to have a step-by-step guide on how to do the transaction. So if there are no further questions, maybe I can ask Mr. Mutai to make some final comments before I close. Karibu Mutai.
Thank you, Mr. Kahosha. Thank you, everyone, for attending the webinar. As Mr. Kahosha said, we purpose to have a process or every Tuesday at exactly 10 a.m. So we encourage you to attend the webinars and provide us with feedback so that we can use them to the feedback will assist us in implementing the system to better your experience. Otherwise, I want to say a big thank you for finding time to attend the webinars. Thank you. Mr. Kahoshi, you can close.
Thank you all once again for taking your time to be part of this transformation. Thank you so much. Kindly continue sharing our link to your colleagues and also even to your clients so that they are able to interact with what Ardhisasa is all about. So without much further ado, just to wish you a very pleasant week. Remember, we are always a text away from you on our customer care team. You've also provided an email for you to provide us with your feedback, your suggestions. Remember, Ardhisasa is a system not for the ministry, but for the users. So we value your contribution. So thank you so much. Have a good week. God bless you. And from us at Ardhisasa, shamba lako hati safi. God bless. Bye bye.